6:01.
Okay, it's 7 o'clock, roll call and call to order. Mr. Whitrock unfortunately had a business emergency and had to leave town, so he's not going to be with us. Everyone else is present, accounted for. Public participation, I look, can you talk?
None that I know of.
None that you know of. How about recognitions and honors?
Mr. Connell, you want to recognize the cheerleaders?
Yeah, so I'll let Coach Eppenbach give all the things because there's multiple things to recognize them for, but the biggest one that they're here for is their academic award. They are one of three, we had 3 female sports this past fall that received that academic honor. And so, Coach Eppenbach,
Yeah,
talk
absolutely.
about.
I just would love to gloat on these girls and how much hard work they have been putting in these past, when did we start practicing in June? July. I would say late June, early July, and they had 2-day practices, sometimes coming in at 6:15 in the morning and practicing hard and then coming back and having practice from 7 to 9 at night. Most of them are multi-sport athletes too, so not only is it 2 cheer practices a day, but other practices on top of that. I would love to recognize their dedication and how hard they just, they absolutely have surprised me and Coach Karma Reagan at their hard work. They work so tirelessly. It's been such an amazing time for me to be back my first year, and to just be able to spend it with a bunch of these girls that I used to babysit when I was in high school. I have pictures with them when I was cheering here, so it's so fun for me to watch them grow and excel in all the things that they put their mind to. Watching them not only grow as athletes, but as now I'm also teaching them and I am in a classroom. So just seeing them excel in absolutely every way possible has been so fun and rewarding for me. Yeah. I'm glad they get a little break now.
Ladies want to say anything? No? Okay.
Ladies, thank you very much. We're really proud of your academic achievements. We're also proud of your athletic achievements as well. You have really worked hard. I know you spent one weekend in lovely, scenic Amarillo, tourist wonderland. And I mean, there's a lot of dedication that goes on. I had a daughter that was a cheerleader, and I know what goes on with that. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now we come to the Hugh Robotics State Qualifiers, which, I mean, I've said it several times. Whenever you put Mr. Human and Mr. Ty together, it is an incredible force, and they have done wonderful things. We're really proud of the kids.
Come on, fellas.
Come on, get in here.
Y'all come up here. Okay. So I had 2 of the FLL teams, all made up of 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. Both of them won first place when we had our competition a couple weeks ago. The Stingoneers, which is made up of all 6th graders, they won first place in their innovation project. And the Lego Jackets, which was almost all 4th graders and a couple 5th graders, they won first place on their robot design. And we had 6 teams that qualified to go to state, which is in 2 weeks in Tulsa. And the 6th grade team is one that got to advance to state with their innovation project, but they'll have to do the robot game and everything all over again on the 13th. So yay for them. Lots of after school work, lots of nagging on them to get things done. As you can see, it's all boys. There was only one girl. And so it was a little challenging at times, but they pulled through. do you guys want to say anything about your stuff?
I would say the easiest part was building the missions for. We had to code our robot to do different missions on a board.
So you remember that table you made for me a few years ago? That's still the size of the table. We actually were able to buy a second one, so now we're not using pool noodles as bumpers and everything. So we have 2 regulation boards for 2 teams that they're able to practice on. And like he said, they have to code everything themselves. They have a 2.5-minute time limit to try to accomplish 16 missions. And I think they did at least half the board. Both teams, you had 8 to 10 missions coded. In that 2.5 minutes time, what was your high score? Like 195, do you guys remember what your score was?
110.
No, that wasn't your highest, was it?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay, 110. Okay, yeah, I thought that was a little bit higher than that. So yeah, I mean, they did good, and this is, you know, the ones that feed up to my high school teams, which we're doing great. We have another meet on Saturday in Okarche, and also we're having regionals. If you guys didn't know that, I'm hosting regionals for our high school level teams here in Kingfisher at the high school on February 7th. Be great if you guys would stop by and see what that's all about, because there's going to be about 25 teams there from across the western half of Oklahoma, I almost said the U.S. And they will be competing also to move on to state as well.
Is that gonna be at the high school?
It's going to be at the high school. Yep. Lots of robots at the high school on the 7th. So
And the high school robots are throwing balls.
yeah, this year it's a shooting
quite a game.
competition. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, I just always appreciate your guys' support of the robotics that Kurt and I are doing. And FYI, I couldn't do it without him, so don't ever think it's just me. He has a lot to do with it. He
I
likes
just
to stand in the
drive,
background.
Drive the van.
We do good teamwork. He'll handle the robots, I handle the paperwork and organization, so it works out well. But yeah, I did have just to say, because I see my principal is not here tonight, but just in case, I had 2 teams of 6th graders that we went and did the design do competition in Weatherford with Engaged Learning in Devon, and they got 1st and 2nd place out of the teams there, but they had to engineer and build a mini golf course using simple machines. So we were working on that, and we also have a STEM day at our school on Friday with OERB for the whole school. So I've got that coming up too.
Thank you for all your hard work. And parents, thank you for bringing your kids
Yes.
and sharing with us. They really are doing something really special that is a different level than what we're used to seeing in academic competitions. And your kids represent us really well, and we really appreciate that. And I think that's all we'll recognize both of the next one.
All right, you're welcome to leave unless you want to stay.
Thank you very much for coming tonight.
Thank you all. That's okay. All right. Discussion and possible actions on the minutes of the regular board meeting, November 3rd, 2025.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes. I'll second.
All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes. E, discussion and possible action to approve an out-of-state travel request for the high school band to go to Chicago, Illinois in March of 2027.
Yes, Ms. Owens came to me with this request, and I would recommend that we make allow them to start their fundraising.
I so move.
I'll second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes. F, discussion possible action to approve the following agreements. Teal Oswald, school psychologist in the University of Oklahoma Health Science Center, professional services.
These are both special ed based services that we have to have Teal as our school psychologist for purposes of IEPs. And the professional service agreement with the University of Oklahoma Health Sciences Center allows us to use them for BIP and FBA and a presentation for our special ed teachers that we're required to do by the State Department.
And these are the same agreements that we had previously.
The Health Science Center is different because it's a professional development contract.
I'll make a motion to approve item F as presented.
I'll second.
All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes. G, discussion and possible action to accept lowest bid quote on district roof maintenance contract from sealed submitted quotes opened by the administrative staff on December 1st, 2025 at 1 p.m. for presentation by Andy Evans to the Kingfisher Board of Education.
Okay, we had 2 quotes submitted. We tried to get 4. The winning quote came from Next Step Roofing. We had to clarify their quote because they had sent in $22,500 for a quote, which for 6 months, that would be a little bit steep. They said, yes, you are correct. It will have that because we have to start over a new contract. I'd had the same discussion with Coriel right before we went off on Thanksgiving break. Coriel came in at $29,019.84, whereas the next step came in at $21,250. And next step included making the leak stop over at the auditorium, where the auditorium ties into the Heritage Building. And they'll document the shape of the roofs. They'll put numbers and inventory our HVAC units, so we will be able to have our own number on the HVAC units to make sure that's what's being worked on. Not that we've had a problem with Bragg or S&J, but whenever you get some of the contractors that we have to have in here for the queue, we want to make sure that everybody's we're not paying for something that isn't needed. We want to know what's going on. That's part of financial transparency, and it's also part of good management. Then they will also clean the scuppers, the gutters, and all that, make sure that things are cleaned up. And they think and they believe they'll have the leaks solved. This doesn't include the DVC.
Okay.
Because the DVC is a whole different deal. And in case you were wondering, we have 63,000 square feet of roofing, not counting the DVC. So I guess we can have a few leaks, but I would recommend next phase to contract with them to do the maintenance program and inventory system for us. And we will present that to OSIG to show them the shape of our roofs. If they want to send somebody out there, more than welcome to send somebody out to climb up on the roofs and take a look, and then we'll be able to move forward.
I move that we approve the recommendation of the superintendent on the roof maintenance contract.
I'll second.
All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes. H, discuss and possible action on encumbrances and reports, including approval and change orders, general fund, accounts payable 1485 through 1509, payroll 70,400 through 70,407, building fund, accounts payable 2134 through 2137, bond fund, accounts payable 3804, change orders of general co-op and building, treasurer's report, and activity fund custodian's report.
And this is our
this is probably the lowest point in the year that we get to before we start getting, actual ad valorem in. We have really nothing unusual this month. We had, a couple of things that came up. We had to, we're working on a repair of the sign over at the Q, and we think we've got it isolated down and may have that thing where we don't think we're driving by 213-degree temperatures. We will have celebration when that is finished, because that has been a thorn in everybody's side. We have, it's really pretty routine stuff. We did have one thing on page 5 I draw your attention to, training technologies, the software update and PD on the training on the Q heat and air system. We made that to where they can look in and not have to send somebody up here to reset that thing if we have to do it. That was the original software that was put on that in 2001. That was a little outdated. There had been no updates on it. We did have the south wing of it go down, of the Q go down this morning, but we must have had an electrical flash sometime over Thanksgiving break, and all we had to do was reset breakers. Train's done a pretty good job of getting that back up and getting us to where the systems all work, except in the library, and we're still working on that.
I guess in 1428, Waffle Irons is not Prosperity Bank.
Waffle irons for all kitchens, we had to order that with Prosperity.
Oh, okay.
And they had been here. We got them for the upper floor buildings. And let's see, that was a good question, I didn't notice that, thank you. We have several read to rise over on page 6, and really after you get past that, we're holding our own over on page okay, over on page 14. Our cash on hand is holding steady. We had outstanding warrants of $1,120,000 last month, and everything is holding up as well as you could expect it to right now. Of course, we're waiting on the ad valorem to start coming in January, so this should look a little bit different when we get to January. Total cash should look a whole lot better. And, it's always cringeworthy when you're doing the cash balance on page 16, but this time of year, but I would point out that we're holding steady at where we were at. This time last year, it was a little dicey, and we've moved way far beyond that. And then over on 17, you can see, page 17, you can see the investments. We're still at $1,519,654.16. As you look at the state sources of revenue on page 18, our gross production tax, we collected $238,000 last month compared to $254,000 a month the same year today. We're running $1,302,000 on actual gross production collected. And if you look on, I've got it on your big sheet because that screen's still a little small. On the big sheets, we're under collecting right now on total in revenue. We're under about $647,000 what we were last year. However, last year we had a lot of, we had $72,000 worth of late fees on taxes.
And then we also had $577,000 worth of state aid down in code 3212 that we didn't get this year because that was a one-year deal. Net total on our revenue, it's still fragile, but we are running ahead a little bit on our state aid. And what we're hearing right now, I think some around the state are getting a little ambitious and they think that we're going to pull about $60 wage ADM extra at midterm. I don't think it's going to be that much. I think it'll probably be somewhere in the $30 to $35 range, but I don't do those calculations every day like I used to, so they may be seeing something I'm not. The biggest thing that we're seeing right now is ad valorem's drop across the state. And we're in kind of a unique position. He didn't drop as much as everybody else did. So I don't think that's being factored in. They're taking a lot of ad valorem off the roads that haven't been corrected in a couple of years. That's why ours dropped. Whenever you look at the second page, we're looking quite a bit different as far as our salaries and burdens compared to this time last year. Our salaries are $212,571.32 less. Our burdens are $73,000 less year to date. The big difference here is we've started moving that money through from the federal grant. That drove us up a little bit over what we thought we would be. But that's just going to be part of it as we go forward. We'll adjust the projections as we get further. Note our services are $569,000 less. Our supplies are higher by $75,000, but that's due to the grants because we had to buy stuff for them. Dues and fees are $71,000 less, but that's also because we had lower OSIG insurance. And we're showing the trend line that we were expecting. We really do believe that we're right where we thought we'd be. We will see an increase in services because we've spent some money to train on trying to get that Q heat and air system back up and running. On the next page, for the month, we were $80,540 less than we were this time last year. We were projecting out $110,000 less per month. That will be okay at that. We want to get it back down, but we had a tremendous amount of supplies in this month, and we also had higher than expected services in this month. So that is a little bit of the difference. But we're still showing the trend line we're supposed to. If you'll know, we're sitting at somewhere, we've reduced our salaries just about like what we thought we would, and our burdens about like what we thought we would. So if we can keep our budget discipline and find some more budget discipline in the services and not have to keep fixing buses and HVACs, life will be a lot better. One other point, you have this one's coming in the report. This is our Jody Hall invoice. We had about $179,000 already encumbered for Jody Hall. That was one of your change orders. It's going to cost us $243,000 to submit to unwind all those contracts. We had $179,000 in that anticipated, so it's going to be about $50,000. But I wanted you to see that, to see where what we were owing, Coons Roofing, Simplified, Fix Only Builders, and then the additional storage, which will be $14,000 worth of storage. And that's not including the classroom we're going to take up at the high school to put the doors in cold storage. Whenever you
go over and you continue to look at page 21, actually page 20, you'll see the activity fund report. Everybody's doing pretty well. Football ended the season with $31,279.21. That's not a bad day compared to where we were. Boys basketball is setting at $5,383, which is more than what we had this time last year. And girls basketball going into the season is at $19,923. We did get the floors redone, the first set of floors redone over Thanksgiving break before the basketball season. Our AD fund is setting at $32,185.26, and that is, and our interest holding is at $61,166. The AD fund is doing much better. Coach Blundell's done a really good job. The rest of our funding has pretty much stayed the same. We did get Ms. Tolson will be talking about the concrete work that we had done over the break. And whenever we get to the end of the activity fund, you can see we've got $759,205.27 in all the activity funds total. And that's it.
Any more discussion? Any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve item H 1 through 6.
Second. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes. Aye, superintendent report.
Okay, Mr. Ferris is in Blanchard basketball, with junior high boys basketball, and Ms. Shelton texted me that she had a migraine and she needed to stay home. So we'll be short 2 principals tonight, if that's okay. Ms. Dawson?
Yes. We were excited to welcome students back today. Maybe I should come over here where you can actually sit there. I'm not talking to the back of the TV. And gosh, it's crazy, but it's going to go fast these next few weeks. And we have a lot planned. Over Thanksgiving break, like Mr. Evans said, we had our drainage work completed on our playground. They still have to do some concrete work around each drain. I don't know for sure when they're going to do that, but obviously not to impede on playground time. And then they completed our sidewalk. So Joseph Morrison did the drainage work, and then Sean Scamhorn with NMS did the concrete work. And so we're very appreciative that they were able to do it during the break. So it wouldn't take up play time, but it all looks really great. So we're excited to now have where it's not a flood every time it rains, and then also being able to get out there whenever we do get a little bit of rain because of the sidewalk. And then, as Mr. Evans said, we do have new swings ordered. It's going to be a few months until they're in, and then it will take some time to install them, but we're excited about that. It's been a long time coming. They're very old, what we have, so we're excited for some new for our students. Today, this week, we started our new benchmark testing for the winter. We're excited to see where our students, all the gains that they've made throughout these last several weeks. This Thursday, we have a special visitor coming to take pictures with our students, have milk and cookies, and we usually get to send home a little picture for families at the end of the semester. And then we have some movie trips coming up for each grade level. We have fun dress-up days planned for that last week, and then classroom parties. And after that, it'll be January. So we're excited about all happenings at Gilmore.
Okay, at Heritage, several things are the same. I'm going to back up just a little bit to November. We had our book fair. Then we had the mega party, which was also for Gilmore, which was a celebration of those kiddos that met a certain mark for selling so much during our fundraiser. On the 19th, the third graders had the Friend Sweeto, Cheyenne Arapaho presentation. He came and gave some cultural information about the Cheyenne Arapaho tribe, did some demonstrations. The kids had a lot of fun there. Then we had our jacket roundup, and we recognized several students during that time. Student of the month, we have math masters, lots of things during that time. Our second graders had our field trip to the Science Museum. December, we have a special visitor coming as well. Then we have the third grade Christmas program on the 11th. So we're looking forward to that. Ms. Franks has done a phenomenal job so far with the Veterans program with the first grade, so we're looking forward to that. Then we're going to have KEF grants that are going to be presented, and then we move on to movies for our third and second graders. Sidewalk. We also have talked to Sean Scammahorn about a sidewalk for accessibility, for handicap accessibility. So I'm not sure exactly when that'll be done, but we do have a quote, so that's in movement there. We are doing our benchmark testing. I think district-wide everyone's doing benchmark testing, so we're excited to see where our kiddos have moved from there. We also, I think I've mentioned before, but if everyone will check on Facebook for those parent nights to see when those special nights for any kind of special education disability nights are, we're going to be posting those again, so those are going to be throughout the year. Other than that, I think we're all good at Heritage. We're warm, our heaters are working, so that's a good thing.
Okay, that's a long way from last year.
All right, high school, we've had a lot going on, kind of wrapping up fall sports and winter sports, and then just had a lot of other activities. We've had a variety of different groups that have served our community just with Thanksgiving festivities and then decorating stuff, getting ready for Christmas. Our FFA recently went to Connor State and did a variety of different ag quizzing competitions, and in the Average Science Quiz Bowl we actually placed first. Ethan McLean made All-State Choir for the second time, which is pretty tough to do. And then, we honored cheer earlier. Some things they didn't say, since we last spoke, we told you they qualified for Game Day cheer. They went and placed sixth in 4A. Then football wrapped up their season, had a really good year, advancing to the second round of playoffs, and wrestling and basketball both being underway. Basketball, high school varsity sports tipping off tomorrow night at Merritt. And then last time we told you that we were doing the food drive, had a bunch of food raised by the high school. We were proud of what they were able to bring. To no surprise to me at least, we ended in a tie. And I anticipated some reindeer games, so I brought one box of mac and cheese, and I was told that if I did that, I wasn't being a good sport. So the outcome of our competition, my legs did get waxed, so I'm thankful for the cold weather. And Ferris had to wear his banana costume. So.
All right, anything else, Mr. Evans? Proposed executive session discussing employment compensation of the following positions for the 2025-2026 school year, the disclosure of which discussions would violate confidentiality requirements of state or federal law as authorized by 25 OS 307B1, employment superintendent's evaluation, and employment of positions on addendum A.
All right, I make a motion to go into executive session. I'll second it.
All those in favor, raise your right hand. We're in executive session at 7:34. All right, the Kingfisher Board of Education had an executive session on December 1st, 2025, the board members consisting of Charles Walker, Dan Goldbeck, Bill Wright, and Mike Copeland will enter into executive session at 7:34 and return to open session at 8:20. The matters as listed on the board agenda were considered in the executive session and no other matters were discussed. No board action was taken in executive session. Discussion possible action on addendum A.
I would recommend that we hire Melanie Wilfong, part-time in the high school art and teacher's aide, and Nate Callen is a teacher's aide, high school IS, junior high and high school boys basketball.
I'll move it. Okay,
I move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passed. Resignations and opening of positions.
We have a resignation from Shelley Watkins, high school secretary. I'd recommend, and I regretfully recommend that you take her, accept her resignation and open the position.
So moved. I'll second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes. Any new business?
No, sir.
Any announcements?
Basketball season starts tomorrow. Go to Barry. If you're going out there, Poppy's Grill or Fred's Grill's, great place to eat. Until you right on the off I-40. And we have a band concert
There you go.
When is the band concert?
Sunday at 1:30.
Sunday, 1:30. 2 o'clock?
2 at the auditorium.
Auditorium.
And I'm telling you guys, we've got, our band kids have really been killing it. They have done an excellent job this year.
Anything else for the principals? Any other announcements that we need to be aware of? Anything else going on? Busy week?
Always.
All right. Then P.
I make a motion to adjourn. I'll second.
All those in favor, raise your right hand. We are adjourned at 8:23.